Welcome to this presentation on the overview of key concepts in supply chain management. This video is presented by Groupe Logistique Québec, whose goal is to explain supply chain related concepts and make them accessible to everyone. In the presentation, we will cover the following themes. First, we will discuss what supply chain is and its stakeholder. Then we will talk about resilience, cost management, information management, and the international context related to supply chain. Supply chain is a part of the reality of many companies when it comes to manufacturing and distributing products. And every customer is affected by the supply chain of the product they consume. The supply chain connects various stakeholders involved in this product. First, we think of the extraction of raw materials, where companies specialize in harvesting these raw materials. Next, we consider the manufacturing phase, where these products are transformed. Afterward, the products are sent to distributors who sometimes make modifications to the product, such as repackaging or other activity before delivering them. Finally, the products are directed either to stores, where tangible purchase can be made, or directly to a customer who can make a purchase online or either can visit the store in person. There will be various flows in the transformation of these products, such as product flows, but there's also a monetary flow related to all of this. For instance, raw material move to the manufacturer, then to the distributor, and so on, regarding the product flow. However, monetary flow moves in reverse. It starts with the customer and goes to the store, then to the wholesaler, and finally to the manufacturer, paying for the raw material. Information flows move in both directions. We ensure that this information is available through the supply chain so that it is accessible and it enables accurate distribution of the product. This is a global overview of the various stakeholders in the supply chain and the movement within the supply chain. Of course, depending on industry, there may be more or fewer stakeholders. It always depends on the type of supply chain and the different stakeholders in it. Other stakeholders of the supply chain are the following. So carrier will make sure that either long distance or last kilometer transportation will happen. It includes air transportation, rail transportation, maritime transportation, and truck transportation. Then we also have the 3PL, which are a third-party logistics service. These are companies specializing in value-added tasks. For example, a company could send their product to a 3PL, and the 3PL will handle the assembly of the order for online sale. We also can think of a purchasing group, which are companies that group together to negotiate better prices and secure preferable agreement for businesses. This is especially popular among SME and that wants to group together to have a better purchasing power. Additionally, there are auditors. This includes accounting auditor, but also other type of audits specialized in some sectors. For example, Health Canada and various other organizations of the food sector might conduct audit to ensure that different products meet quality standards. What are the main functions in logistics and supply chain? Procurement involves buying different raw material or finished product at the right price at the right time, ensuring their availability for subsequent processes in the supply chain. Quality management is ensuring that what will be produced or purchased meets company standards, which of course are based on the standard required by customer. Inventory management is making sure that the right products are available at the right time and maintaining their quality so they don't become obsolete. Although inventory management often overlaps with procurement, and it is also closely linked with warehousing. Production is ensuring that products are made on the right machine at the right time with the right equipment and by the right people. This includes organizing workflow to ensure tasks are complete in the correct order at the right time. Transportation of goods includes maritime, rail, road, and air transportation. The combination of these transportation modes ensure that supply chain will function efficiently. Warehousing and distribution center. This is where products are stored while awaiting for further steps in the supply chain, such as assembly into order, packaging, and any other manipulation in order to prepare them for shipping to the client. Whether it's businesses or end consumer that can purchase a product, those will move into a distribution center, and each item will be prepared for their order to move further in the supply chain. Demand planning involves forecasts, and those forecasts are necessary to allowing proper determination of what is coming in the future to enable appropriate procurement and inventory management. Demand planning is closely linked with procurement and inventory management. Moving back to layout of spaces, it's the task in which we will decide which equipment or which work task will happen at which place in the space used for the supply chain activities in order to be as efficient as possible. And finally, there's return management. This is where we ensure that when a customer has a product that they no longer needs or that does not meet their expectation, the return process will be handled efficiently. While often associated with e-commerce, return management can also occur between businesses. These are the main functions in logistics and supply chain. However, other functions may be added depending on the industry and the different product in the supply chain. Supply chain has an important place in the value chain of a company. So the logistic part is taken care in the primary activities. We can consider everything that's related to the inbound logistics, so everything that happens before the activity is in the company, and then the production operation, moving to the external logistic to make sure that the product will go to the final customer, either if it's a business or a customer like everyone that can purchase product by e-commerce or in-store. There's also the purchasing or procurement part that is considered as a support activity, and it needs to be taken care of in order to have the best margin possible for the company. Thus, a supply chain that is really integrated and that will consider their logistic and their value chain will have a good position in order to be competitive. Let's move forward to discuss resilience in supply chain. What is a resilient supply chain? A resilient supply chain has the capacity to adapt, recover, and continue operation despite disruption. Why is a supply chain need to be resilient? Well, it ensures that customer service will be great despite different external challenges. Then, it's needed to be reliable for their business partners. So a company that is resilient will be reliable for a different partner that either can be a business, a recruitment, or either a supplier. Then, it's important to be prepared for various contingency in an uncertain context. How can we achieve resilience in supply chain? Here are some few examples. So for example, a supplier diversity can help being more resilient. This reduce the reliance on a single supplier. Flexibility is also needed, and is the ability to adjust quickly in time of crisis. Visibility is another example, with real-time tracking of the inventory and flow. So that way, with this information, it's easier to take quick decision when there's a disruption. And same thing for traceability. So understanding the origin of material and the component of a product makes it easier to decide different changes when facing disruption. Here are some examples of contexts in which resilience was needed. So for example, during COVID-19 pandemic, many businesses shifted their suppliers to local suppliers in order to secure quicker access and reduce dependence on international transport. Another example is the Suez Canal blockage in 2021 that forced a rapid reallocation of flow via alternative routes. Shipping delays had a cascading effect on production and customer delivery. So companies that were quick to decide to relocate their transport were able to have less disruption in their supply chain. Another example that's more current is the Canada Post strike that's happening in November and December 2024 and has a big impact on Black Friday logistics. pushing companies to reorganize their transport operation. Those that already have an alternative carrier and that split their orders between multiple carriers were better positioned to ensure time delivery because they didn't need to find a new supplier for their transportation, and they only need to work to just reallocate their volume. So that really helps to have different supplier in this situation, and we can see it with our online purchase and the delay that we will receive our orders. Let's discuss cost management. It is essential to understand that supply chain generates significant costs. A supply chain is considered as a cost center. Efforts are constantly made to reduce these costs, such as minimizing losses, whether they involve time or product. This is why quality assurance and continuous improvement are emphasized by supply chain with the goal of increasing output. For instance, reducing time losses can increase productivity, while reducing material waste enables more to be produced with the same input. An example, if a business produces muffin, reducing the waste of chocolate chips will allow more muffin to be produced, improving margin since fewer resources are wasted. There's three pillars of the supply chain regarding cost management. So there's quality, cost, and delay. Quality is ensuring that the product will meet the standard. Cost is keeping expenses low while maintaining effectiveness. And delays is delivering product in a timely manner. The ultimate goal is to provide the right product at the right quantity, at the right price to the right person at the right time. However, delivering too early can also be a problem. For example, a client might not want Halloween item delivered in August, but closer to the season instead. Sources of supply chain costs include warehousing, so the cost of storing goods for extended period, including opportunity cost of space, and utilities such as electricity and heating. Handling operation costs are related to moving and managing stock, including labor, equipment, and other expenses. Transformation operations, so the cost of raw material, and quality control testing to ensure that product will meet standard. For example, a flooring company may conduct durability tests, which incur expenses. For the transportation, fuel price fluctuation and vehicle maintenance directly impact transportation costs. Forecasting error can also lead to waste, excess stock, or lost sale in case of insufficient stock. For example, overproducing muffin with expiration date can lead to spoilage and waste. On the other hand, underproducing may result in empty shelves and loss of sale opportunities. Let's move forward to information management. Why is information key in supply chain management? Well, it helps making informed decisions by maintaining a good balance between supply and demand. So with information, we're able to do good forecasts. It also ensures a good level of customer service. So to be able to have the right quantity of product for customer at the right time, and also helps react quickly to context changes. Technology can be used as a lever in supply chain to be more efficient. ERP systems such as SAP or Oracle integrates and automate data connecting stakeholders in the supply chains to ensure accurate information. ERP system can link accounting, HR, procurement, and any other function of the company, providing performance indicator and report and making it accessible. WMS system or warehouse management system manage inventory and stock movement, often integrated with ERP for better coordination. Internet of Things, or IoT, allows real-time tracking of goods, enhancing traceability. For instance, fashion industry use IoT to track product across warehouses and stores. Artificial intelligence enables predictive analytics, stock optimization, and algorithm-based decision-making, such as determining optimal production quantity, storage location, and transportation route. Automation combines mechanical process with IT system in order to improve efficiency across supply chain. When we think of automation, we often think about robots, but it needs a good IT support behind this and information support to make sure that automation will work and be helpful to optimize the operation of a supply chain. Having real-time, accurate information helps companies in many ways. It helps making better decisions based on up-to-date data rather than outdated historical information. It also enhances communication between internal and external teams, enabling faster response to changes such as an increase in demand. For instance, a rise in sale can quickly be communicated to a supplier, ensuring inventory that can be adjusted promptly. The information flow is an important component of the supply chain and is required to meet efficiency. Reducing delay through digitalization of communication helps having faster information and more accurate information. It also minimizes human error related to duplicates or outdated information. It's important to ensure access to accurate information in real time to be able to do a good decision and to communicate this information to the other stakeholder of the supply chain. It's also required to organize work and documentation in order to be able to consult information quickly. Many stakeholders of the supply chain are impacted by the information flow, and it's quite important task force to be able to digitalize everything in its supply chain. So sometimes, depending on the partner that a company has to work with, it can be harder, or sometimes it can be easier when a company is already integrated with some of its supplier or customer. Let's discuss the international context and its effect on the supply chain. Global supply chains depend on producing countries, making them vulnerable to sanctions, shortage, or war. For example, conflict in region producing key raw material can impact the entire supply chain relying on those materials. Many finished products also require components sourced globally. For example, car often consists of parts from multiple countries, even if the final assembly can occur locally. Transportation infrastructure are directly impacted by international context. About 90% of global trades rely on ports, so congestion, strike, or weather disruption can affect the flow of raw material and finished goods, even if the production of those goods are not impacted. This information presentation on supply chain provides a broad overview of the topic. While the topic is far more complex depending on the industry and supply chain type, this serves as a general introduction to the stakeholder and their role within the process of supply chain. Thank you for listening.